This podcast is sponsored by Borfindel's Dwarf Spirits. Guaranteed to blow your head off. I mean, really. I've seen it. One sip and boom. I'm not entirely sure I see the point, but they seem quite popular. Anyway, order Borfindel's Dwarf Spirits now at the introductory price of 14 groats per gallon and get a pint of goblin spittle for free.
All the tabletop role-playing news. We aim to amuse and we aim to enthuse. And Morrus's unofficial tabletop RPG
Hello, and welcome to Morrus's unofficial tabletop RPG talk. I am Morrus, aka Russ, or Russ, aka Morrus, and with me today is...
Peter Coffey from the Southampton Guild of Roleplayers. As ever, enthusiastic and excited to be here.
How have you been this week, Peter?
Yeah, I've been pretty good, thanks. Went public, in fact, with my Mandate of Heaven, Manifest Destiny, and Brave New World campaign.
Mandate
of Heaven.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't a mandate, that's two words you're thinking of, Russ. Do try and focus. Mandate as in by order of.
All right.
By heaven's will, yes. No, it's exciting. I've got some players. They've had a look at the setting. That appears to be well received. Some parts of it were considered a bit standouty. Apparently, sex-crazed halflings I was not quite ready for.
Okay.
What can I say? I really like the Rat Queens comic. So smidgens are now a thing in my world.
So is this your Hex Crawl Sandboxy?
Yes. And the setting is now out.
Yeah.
And over the course of the next week, I will be putting out the rules for character creation and how one actually goes about playing it.
Exciting stuff.
Yes, and having something I've just read is going to have a big effect on how the game plays out.
Cool.
Yes.
I've spent most of my week reading Pathfinder 2.
An excellent choice.
Which I am now thoroughly familiar with.
Excellent. I shall be asking you lots of detailed rules questions.
I have licked it a lot.
Oh, excellent. Well, that belongs to you.
Yes. Well, it's important to know how these things taste. And also on Thursday night, we were playing our regular game,
yes.
and I slipped the, how are we saying it? Stygian, I think is the word. Stygian library into...
The Stygian library.
The Stygian library into my game.
Yes.
While sitting in Nick's back garden getting eaten by mosquitoes.
Marvellous. And were they expecting it in any way?
Were they expecting me to get eaten by mosquitoes?
Well, I hope they were enjoying that, but were they expecting the Stygian library?
Well, Nick did notice that I printed it out,
yeah,
and I had the PDF on the table in front of me, and he did notice that the name on the front of the PDF matched the name of the latest podcast, and he was like, should I not listen to that podcast then?
It's like,
it's fine.
There is. Too late.
Yeah, so I just slipped that in, and it worked well.
Good.
They needed a piece of information. I thought, hey, why not use that as the way for them to get it?
Fantastic. I hope they had as much fun as we did.
More. They had 1,000 times more.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's only because there were free crisps to eat.
Wow. There we go. But not really suitable snacking material whilst podcasting due to the crunching sounds.
Whereas I was suitable snacking material for the random mosquitoes.
Unless everyone was happy.
My arm
except
on
for you.
Friday, my right forearm was like twice the size. It really spurt, really bad.
I see. Yes.
Honestly, I was not a happy bunny.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
But it's gone down now. But man, that was bad. Anyway, that's enough of that.
Yes.
Shall we do some news?
Yes, let's.
Hey, you know what week it is this week?
Yes, it is the weekend of the 29th of July.
That is one of the things it is.
Is it the week before Gen Con?
Well, it's the week of Gen Con.
It is the week of Gen Con.
Yes, well, when this comes out, this episode's not coming out until Thursday.
We'd apologise for the delay, but we did it deliberately.
Yes, because we're talking all about Pathfinder, and Pathfinder releases on Thursday. So, the podcast is coming out on Thursday.
Yes,
but that's also the first day
of
Gen Con. So when people hear this, Gen Con will have started. Thousands of geeks from all around the world will be converging on Indianapolis.
It's as if 1,000 million bars of soap all cried out in horror and were then silent. No, that's an old stereotype which we shouldn't perpetrate.
It must be 4 or 5 years since I've been now. It has been a while.
Yeah.
I've got to get back there sometime.
Well, yeah. Depends on when you get time for a holiday.
It's just such a long way away.
It is in America. That is a problem. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so Gen Con started. We don't know anything about anything that's happening there because that's in 4 days' time from our point of view.
I see. Or right now, from your point of view.
Yes. Or in the past, if you're listening to it later.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
How time works.
Yes, fascinating. So, for the rest of our podcast, you managed to escape remedial classes on chronology basics 101. Come on, shall we do some news?
All right then. So there's a big miniature being released to go along with the Descent into Avernus storyline.
Okay, a big miniature.
Yes.
Is it very exciting?
I love the combination of those two words, a big miniature.
Well, is it very exciting?
So it's the Infernal War Machine.
Oh.
And this is what it looks like. We'll have to put a link in the show notes because people on our podcast cannot see this. Unless you want to try and paint a picture with words.
Well, I'll give it a go.
It looks like a shoe, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit like an angry shoe, which fits in with the Avernus theme of vampire boots. In this particular case, it looks like one of those old German World War II half-tracks, which has had a Triceratops skull attached to the front of it with a night visor slightly behind it, and the whole thing has been slightly melted and painted black and red.
Yeah. So this is
I think you'll find that's a brilliant description.
It is a pretty good description. When people actually do look in the show notes and click on the link and look at the picture, they'll see exactly what you mean.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh yeah, that does make sense. I mean, obviously you might not understand it, but that's what I'm seeing.
So this thing is 11 inches long.
That's nearly a foot long.
It costs $69.99.
Crikey. That's
and
quite cheap, actually.
It fits 6 miniatures in its passenger area, plus one in the driver's seat.
I see. Move over Games Workshop.
Yeah. It's quite cool. That's being produced by WizKids. For the Descent into Avernus adventure.
Right.
But it's pretty enormous.
Yeah, the Infernal War Machine, I think that's quite an important part of it, isn't
Alternatively, you can just get a shoe and paint it red, and that will have much the same effect.
We'd recommend probably not a boot, but just one of your regular dress shoes.
It's kind of like a trainer, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I reckon you could get away with a black trainer, paint some red stripe on it, job done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, not to disparage the good artists and sculptors at WizKids, which actually it's a very nice model. Honestly, we like it.
What else we got in the news? What do we got? Project Raptor.
Project Raptor or Project Rapture?
Raptor.
I see, as in a bird of prey. Tell me more.
Yes. This is by Keith Baker, who created Eberron.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Project Raptor is a new Eberron sourcebook, which he is writing.
I see.
He says it's not official.
Right.
But as far as I'm concerned, he's the creator of Eberron, he's writing it. That's about as official as it gets in my mind.
Yeah, it's like...
So in my mind, it is very much official. But he's writing it. It's coming to PDF and print-on-demand hardcover for the Dungeon Masters Guild. It's going to be 160 pages.
Nice.
Late 2019 release.
Okay. Well, we shall look forward to that.
Yeah.
Scribbles from Keith Baker?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, it's an interesting setting. I'm looking forward to returning there in probably about 5 weeks' time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just my DM has asked for a renewal of the season. It's like, oh, go on then. And that's the only thing that will get me away from Stars Without Number.
We're not actually... it's only the two of us, so we're not doing a Kickstarter game today, so I'll just do a very, very quick Kickstarter roundup.
Oh, yes, please.
Super quick.
Yes. We could call it the Quickfire Kickstarter.
We could do. Okay. Things ending soon are...
Yes.
Big Eye Small Mouth 4th edition.
The anime game.
Thursday, August the 8th.
Yeah.
There is An Occurrence at Howling Crater, which is a 5e module, an old school Groundhouse style thing.
Grindhouse, do you mean?
Grindhouse style genre bending, it says.
Nice.
That ends August the 6th.
Sweet.
The Misty Halls of Kalavorka, which is an OSR D&D adventure.
Okay, yeah.
There's Pulp Fantastic,
yep.
A setting book for Savage Worlds, ending on Thursday, August the 8th.
Oh, yeah.
We've got Talespire, which is a way of playing pen and paper RPGs online in pretty graphics like that look.
Ooh,
you get a sort of 3D isometric view of miniatures, essentially, on a digital landscape.
Okay.
Demigods, which is a powered by the Apocalypse adventure where you play the children of gods.
Right. So different from Godborn and Scion in many important ways.
Yeah.
Most of them being powered by the Apocalypse.
But that's the upcoming crowdfunding news.
Okay, yeah, well, those are all exciting crowdfunders. We look forward to hearing more from them.
We do. Okay, Catalyst Game Labs have previewed a whole bunch new Shadowrun things.
Shadowrun. Daryl, contain your excitement.
So they previewed the Shadowrun 6th World Core Rulebook.
Ooh.
Which is going to be available at Gen Con.
Yes.
I mean, we've already talked about these a little bit in the past.
Yeah.
These are things that are literally coming up.
But it'd be nice if they can make a Shadowrun in which people say, yes, I'm excited to play this.
Yeah.
And then they read it and they're like, yes, this is really exciting still. And then they actually run it, because I'd like to play in a game of Shadowrun at some point.
Fair enough.
As opposed to a hack of Shadowrun.
So we've also got the 6th World Beginner Box. We got the Shadowrun Dice and Edge tokens.
Important.
And we've got the Rose Gallery NPC cards.
Always good.
We've got some miniatures.
Ooh.
And we have the Neo-Anarchist Streetpedia.
A valuable resource for all aspiring GMs.
No Future, which is a source book.
Okay.
What hot new shows are on the Tridio tonight? It says a sledge collectible statue. What sledge?
I guess it's a guy.
Sledge is a thing that Shadowrun people know about. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
He's an Orc Street Samurai.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's the stuff they're releasing at Gen Con.
Brace yourself for sarcastic Daryl comments, listeners.
Yes. Daryl is currently tearing his hair out. Like, how can you not know?
Daryl, never mind.
Moving on.
Daryl. Hello, your editor Daryl here. I am surprisingly not pulling my hair out. It's actually not surprising people wouldn't know who Sledge is. Sledge is actually a brand new character for 6th edition. It's one of the pre-generated PCs for this new edition. It's the Orc Street Samurai character. So it's absolutely unsurprising that anyone who hasn't been rapidly following the new edition doesn't know who he is.
Pathfinder also posted their character sheets.
Yes.
Paizo posted the Pathfinder character sheet saying, if this game has a really, really weak point, I'm not fond of those character sheets. Have you seen them?
I have seen them, and yeah. Oh, crikey, yeah. No, moving on.
Paizo have announced that there are masterclass miniatures for Starfinder,
Yes.
which were being produced by Ninja Division,
Okay.
are now instead
Yes.
going to be produced by Archon Studio.
Right.
I don't know what difference that will make, but they've changed the company they're using to produce these miniatures.
Okay.
There are Kickstarter awards that are already going out from the original partner.
Right.
Apparently, Archon Studio plans to ship the Kickstarter awards in waves.
Isn't that Archon?
But also, they're or Archon, however you want to say it.
Okay.
They'll be starting over.
Yes. Oh.
So if you've already received miniatures from Ninja Division,
Right.
you're going to get duplicates
What?
from Archon, but this time in plastic rather than resin.
Wow. Such generosity.
I don't know why that's happening, but that is happening.
I guess they have their reasons.
I guess.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
No disadvantaging people. Paizo's really filling their oats. Paizo?
Roll20 stats came in.
Oh,
for
yeah.
2019.
Oh, I'm afraid I've seen that already, but it was very exciting.
It is interesting.
Yes.
So, usually,
Yes.
the news is exactly the same with this, isn't it?
Yes.
And we say exactly the same thing, whether it's
Pretty
Fantasy
much.
Grounds or ICV2's charts or whether it's...
Or whoever.
Roll20s. It's always exactly the same.
Yes.
Slightly different this time.
Is that D&D is the biggest game ever and nothing can even come close.
Well, that's the usual news, yeah. Well, the slight difference is, this time, D&D's dropped by 10%.
Bum, bum, bum.
Which is, Pathfinder's also dropped.
I guess the question that everyone's going to be asking is why? Why, Russ? Why has it dropped?
Well, hang on, wait till I finish.
Oh, fair enough.
Call of Cthulhu has risen massively.
Ooh.
I made this little graph look.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So, up here we've got D&D.
Yes.
So it's been going up and then it's dropped a bit.
Yep.
There we've got Paizo, which has been dropping, Pathfinder, which has been dropping steadily for a while. But that always happens when
It's like a fairly minor increase, to be fair. And I think we've said earlier that the number of role-playing games has been increasing.
Yeah.
So, like, proportionally, it's just been stable as opposed to shrinking.
But we've got Call of Cthulhu here, which has been on the rise and it's overtaken Pathfinder.
Yes, so it has. Yeah.
This is just for this one quarter, but there is a reason behind this, though.
Yes, what is the reason?
They've totally changed the way they count.
Well, that will affect numbers, yes.
So the thing is, the new way they count seems like it's more accurate to me.
Yeah, what was the old way they counted?
So the old way they counted was just Roll20 would look at people player profiles and just whatever they'd written in there to say they were interested in.
Yeah.
And they take a sample.
Yeah.
And that was basically it.
Yeah.
Now what they're doing is they're taking everybody's account, and they've got about 4 million accounts.
Okay.
And they're looking at the character sheets that are used.
I see. They're seeing what people are actually playing as opposed to what they say they're interested in. Yes.
I mean, that doesn't necessarily solve the problem that people do make character builds and don't use them.
Yes, that's true.
Which is what D&D Beyond has that.
Oh my,
well,
yeah.
Doesn't it?
So much, yeah.
So it, there are still flaws in it, but it does seem to me to be a more accurate way of looking at it.
Yeah. So it's D&D's in first place. Then we've got
D&D 51%.
That's 5th edition rule set is 51%.
Yeah. And then we've got
nearly 52 to be fair.
Uncategorized, which we can miss out because that's just stuff. Call of Cthulhu is just under 10% there.
Yeah.
And then we got Pathfinder at 6.5%.
Interesting. And then you got 3.5 at, was it 1.6%?
Yeah, D&D 3.5 at 1.6%.
That's quite interesting because that's a bit of a change round because before it was something like 5th edition D&D was, 65%?
It was about 60-ish, 60-something.
And then you had 10-15% of Pathfinder, and then there was another 5% of assorted Dungeons and Dragons, and then everything else was like coming in like little micro quantities. But here, some of these things are actually achieving actual percentages.
Yeah, I mean Starfinder's on there too.
Yeah, I'm seeing Warhammer and World of Darkness. They're also making an appearance.
It's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out beyond just this one quarter, though.
Yeah. Well, obviously with time we'll see more stuff.
Yeah, and of course with Pathfinder 2 coming out, I imagine that Peso's stats are going to get a bit of a shake-up. Whether they're going to go up or down, I don't know.
Well, I know which way my money's betting, but anyway, let's crack on.
Right then, what else do we have in the news? So there's a thing on the iOS App Store for iPad.
Oh, yes.
It's only available for iPad at the moment. I don't know if they plan to release it for other things. And it's called Game Author.
Yeah.
And it's designed, I don't know why it's called Game Author, because what it does is let you design, roll and share custom dice.
Oh, okay. Well, that's clearly what all the authors do nowadays. They just design custom dice.
yeah. So these custom dice, obviously you use the app itself to roll them, I guess. So you get it from the iOS App Store, $6.99. And you can just make your own custom dice and share them with other people.
Okay. Well, that's nice.
If that came with some kind of print-on-demand type thing where you could just go, I like that, and you just press a button and it arrives at your house 3 days later, that would be pretty cool.
Wow, this sounds like a killer app for 3D printing.
I would get addicted to that if that happened.
Your house would be full of tiny, annoying shapes of tiny, annoying polyhedra.
Yeah.
Not a platonic solid insight. You'd have a D32.
Oh, I see. So you can use AR mode on your iPad to roll them on the table, or you can turn your TV using AirPlay into a shared rolling surface.
Okay.
Or you can export print and play patterns and create physical paper dice, which is not something I would ever do.
No. But one for the arts and crafts people out there who really enjoy that sort of thing. So good times.
Yeah, that's kind of pretty much it for the news. It's quiet coming up to Gen Con. There's going to be a whole bunch of releases to talk about next week.
Oh, next Monday is just going to be hilarious. Don't we have that wonderful chap, that friend of yours on?
Wonderful chap.
Wonderful chap.
A wonderful chap.
Yes. Shall I say his name? Kevin Culp.
You can say, if you say his name 3 times.
Kevin Culp. Oh. That wasn't true. I have been bamboozled.
Yes. Next week we'll have game designer Kevin Culp coming on.
Oh, marvellous. Yes. I shall have to make sure I actually read my copy of Time Watch.
I would.
Yes. I can ask him lots of questions.
Yeah. Well, that's it for the news. Except I've got a copy of Symphony 6 here.
Oh, yes, that is very
paperback
nice.
format.
Yes.
And you've just suggested to me that I actually do this in small paperbacks because it's such a small book.
I wouldn't say flimsy per se. That would That'd be gosh. It's
only about 20 pages.
It's admirably concise.
Yeah, I think I could cut that in half, definitely. That's a brilliant idea. And you can sell that at conventions for under £5.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful idea. I'm
Like
gonna
a pocket-sized book.
That's
So take role-playing games around wherever you are, just in case you're like, well, what should we do now? We could play a role-playing game.
That is a thing I will do. It's a good idea.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay, then. Aha! A new player. Guys, please welcome Julius. He's played Caverns and Wyverns before, so he should be up to speed.
Hi, thanks for the welcome. I'm looking forward to diving in.
So Julius, what edition of Caverns and Wyverns are you most familiar with?
Last I played was 16th edition a few years ago.
16th edition.
Yeah, is that a problem?
We don't talk about 16th edition round here. The edition which introduced micro hit points. I'll thank you not to mention it again.
Oh, right, sorry. I didn't realise you felt so strongly. I did play edition 19.6 for a while. Why are you all glaring at me like that?
Any self-respecting gamer knows perfectly well that any edition which included a purple dragon is no true edition. 19.6. Brah! Next you'll be saying you played 21C.
Well, yes, I did play a session of 21C a while back. It was okay.
Okay. Look, Julius, I don't think you're going to fit in here. Edition 21C was the one which moved fireball from 3rd to 4th level. Intolerable.
Wait, no, it was 21D. My mistake.
Fair enough. I thought I was going to have to throw you out there. 21D is an acceptable edition, although deeply flawed.
Really? I thought it played fine. I mean, they all do, really.
Fine? Well, if you're happy with fine, you may as well play the 2016 Essential Edition, or use the 2012 Errata with 12th edition.
That's all over my head. For me, it's more about the players, the friendship, the company of people with similar interests, the camaraderie, you know.
Camaraderie must be earned, my friend, and it is not earned by playing the wrong edition.
Yeah, okay, I see. So, what edition do you guys play here?
Well, we play 23rd edition, of course, with the 2018 errata and the online supplemental material, but not the article from April 29 for obvious reasons.
23rd edition? Sir, I will not darken your doorstep again. How could any true gamer play that diabolical edition? Did you even see the font they chose?
So, Pathfinder 2. Right, we can actually talk about it. I have been dying to talk about this. Well, for the past couple of days, because I've been reading it intensively. And I'm conflicted. You go first. Tell me stuff.
Well, how about, before we start,
yes,
why don't we sort of have this sort of little disclaimer thing,
yes,
and just sort of like let people know where we're coming from on this.
Good shout.
Because we've both got different backgrounds in this game.
Super different.
So if you go first, then I'll say where I'm coming from afterwards.
Yeah, I've played like one game of Pathfinder. I played a bit of 3.5. I even ran a campaign of 3.0 or 3.5. It was like 20 years ago, I'll be honest. So I'm not super up to speed. 5th edition is largely my context upon which I'm judging this game. And I quite enjoy it. I have a certain level of system mastery, if I may be so bold as to blow my own trumpet. But that is where I'm coming from.
So for me, obviously I played 3.5 or 3E and 3.5 when they came out in 99, 2000.
Yeah.
Ran a couple of long campaigns with those. When 4E came out, I did try 4E for one long campaign, then went to Pathfinder that I could keep using the 3.x engine because that I personally preferred.
Worked well for you, yeah.
And then I played the Kingmaker campaign.
Yes.
Probably 4 or 5 years ago, run by a friend of mine. That lasted probably 9 months or so. Haven't played it since then, though. Oh, no, apart from the Pathfinder playtest, which we played like late last year, running into early this year.
Yeah, but which was like very much based on sort of stress testing scenarios and making new characters for each one, so it wasn't really like
Yeah.
the exciting role-playing experience that you'd hope for.
I mean, from a preference point of view, I think I come from a higher score than you do. In that,
You like your crunch.
I'm more fond of the 3.x era of games than you are. I think
A lot more. That's entirely fair. Yeah.
So that's so people know where we're coming from on this and why we might have slightly different views.
Yeah, I like certain levers to pull, but I find too much crunch gets in the way of my immersion. Yeah.
So the first thing I really noticed about this is a weird coincidence, right?
Yeah.
Page count, the size of this book. It's a big book.
Yes.
It's a big book.
Yes.
So it's 638 pages.
Yes.
Now guess what the 5e Player's Handbook and DMG come to together?
I don't know, about 550 odd, something like that.
636.
Oh,
This is within 2 pages
that is...
of 5th edition, D&D 5th edition.
Wow, okay. That's interesting.
It must be a coincidence, but it's a hell of a...
Oh, that is... Yeah.
It's exactly the same length.
Ah.
Because obviously, like,
Yes.
D&D 5th edition, if you ignore the bestiaries for both games...
Yes.
So the bestiary for Pathfinder and the monster manual for D&D.
Yeah.
The core rulebook for Pathfinder is basically the Player's Handbook and DMG combined.
Yes.
They put it in one book rather than 2.
That makes a lot of sense. Everything you do need is in this one book.
Yeah. But somehow, within 2 pages, that's really weird.
That is.
It's like, could that be deliberate? I don't know.
Well, I guess it might be a deliberate marketing strategy, because I noticed in the back of the book it mentions that there is a whole lore section for Galarian.
Yeah.
That's available as a separate book, and the bestiary, which would be the equivalent of the monster manual, is also available as a separate book. So I guess what they're trying to avoid is the appearance of the Pathfinder books are just much weightier. I think by keeping them together, it does allow for saying, well, actually, it is basically the same amount of effort to learn as the 5th edition rule set.
Yeah. I mean, games are more commonly 1 core rulebook than they are like 3 core rulebooks.
Absolutely.
That's the standard way to release an RPG. Oh well. Anyway, so like my overall impression of it.
Yes.
So I think it's important to distinguish between, when you're talking about a game, complexity and depth as being 2 different things.
Very much so.
So complexity, I personally see as a game that has lots and lots of different rules that you have to learn.
Yeah.
Whereas depth is lots of options.
Okay.
So a very sort of extreme example of it.
Yeah.
So I would say a game with low complexity would be my Simply 6 thing. There's 1 rule. Right?
Yes.
But you could give it a lot of depth by adding 1,000 skills to it. But you're still using the 1 rule. So it's not complex. You're not having, there's no extra cognitive load to learning how to run it.
Okay.
But the extra depth gives you... It's a stupid example, really, because that would ruin the game doing that. But, you know.
Yeah.
That gives it more depth because you've got more options to use with it. So that's how I kind of see that.
Okay, I see. Okay, that's a definition. Okay. Right, I'll try and bear that in mind. So complexity is how many different rules, systems and subsystems one has to play with.
Yeah.
And depth is how many options you can derive off those.
So if you've got a game that's got a different way of doing an attack roll, a different way of doing a skill check, and a different way of doing grappling, and a different way of doing spell casting, all this sort of stuff.
Well, you just described a game I'm never going to play.
You're talking a complex system because it's got lots of different...
Yes, it's like a different thing that I have to remember for each and every one.
Yeah.
And as a GM, it's like, no, I'm not touching that. And as a player, I'm like, I'm not fond of this.
So a less complex game will use the same base mechanic for all of those things.
Yes, but it can still have a lot of depth by having lots of different options that one can execute these things with. Okay, yeah.
So the reason I wanted to explain what I meant by those,
yes.
I mean, other people might have different definitions, but so people now know what I mean by them when I talk about them. Is that what I think Pathfinder 2 has done here is they have reduced complexity.
Yes.
Compared to Pathfinder 1. The sort of rule systems are more uniform. It's easier to basically understand. If you can do a skill check, you can do an attack roll. It's all...
And do a saving throw.
It's all very similar.
They definitely copied 5e's homework in that respect.
But they have increased the depth.
They have increased the depth quite a lot.
Like the character options. I mean, obviously not compared to Pathfinder's entire 10-year history. No. In the core book itself.
Let's compare like with like. You should compare Pathfinder to 3.5. Yeah. And you should be... to 3.5 Dungeons and Dragons. No?
Should I?
I think so. And I don't think you should compare Pathfinder 2 to Pathfinder 1. Well, you could, but I'm just going to throw this out here. I won't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but a lot of our listeners will know.
Okay, in which case...
So a lot of people were thinking, what's changed? I think
okay. What's changed is something you'll know much more about than me, because I don't. Yeah.
So that's what I think's happened. I think they have reduced the complexity, they've increased the depth. Overall, that's the effect. And we can talk a bit more about how that's happened, but that's what I think they've done.
And it is a deep game, I've got to say. I'm liking it. I'm liking that bit. Well, I mean, one of the first things I noticed is there's 10 levels of spells.
Yes.
And also how clearly the book is laid out.
Do you know what I like? It's those side things.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking about. Like, you open that book up and there's like little... Along the side, it's got which section of the book it is, and then it's highlighted which section of the book you're in.
So it's easy to navigate.
That's just such a godsend. I spent a lot of time flipping through...
I wonder if actually having page numbers there would help. Because I still find myself... You're still kind of... the 3 sections down. Okay, about there? Okay.
The page numbers are there, and they're very clear as well. They're in a high contrast font.
Oh, okay.
High contrast colour.
Oh.
Yeah. Like they're like a bright red compared to the white background that they're on.
Okay.
You can definitely see them. And I must say, I heartily approve.
No, I mean in the bit down the side.
Yeah, no.
Numbers down there.
Oh, okay. Do they have the page numbers there as well?
No, that's why I said they didn't have.
Oh,
I think it would
page
be
numbers.
No, okay.
Oh, sorry. My bad. We're talking at cross purposes. Let's
so
go.
So the bit down the side there
is awesome.
If that bit down the side also had the page numbers in it. So if you, because you look at it and you go, combat, that's 3 sections down.
Right.
But if you can see it was 3 sections down and page 392, you can go straight to it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I feel, for my taste, that would make it a bit busy.
Okay, I mean it's just a tiny thing. It's not.
No. It's like and the internal cross-referencing, like when they refer to rules, they give you the page number of the section you're expected to turn to.
I mean that's the mark of a sort of polished, highly edited game. It's
Yes.
Stuff that some of us can only dream. I mean that's what happens when you've got a big company with lots of resources and they're able to, whereas smaller companies.
I'm going to hold up this copy of the DMG and look at you sceptically. I'm going to hold up this copy of the PHB.
Fair enough.
A big company, like Hasbro.
Fair enough.
Anyway, sorry, no, I don't mean to poo on 5th edition, but it's not as good in terms of layout and cross-referencing. And I have noticed that when I'm trying to find important points.
So I kind of think this is kind of bitch. Now I can't speak to Peso's mindset or what their intention is. I can only say what I think by looking at it. Mm-hmm. I think this is kind of pitched as if you play 5e, but you want something a bit more advanced, this is where you go. I think that's something with a bit more depth, not much more. I'd say complexity-wise, it's about on a par, to be honest.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
But with a bit more depth, more character options, and all this sort of stuff, that's where you would go.
I think it's aimed at people who are coming into the hobby.
You think?
I not only think, I am pretty sure of that, to be 100% honest, because there's different chapters in the book. There's the basics, and there's the play, and there's the GM advice. And I've actually been reading through the basics just because I want to see how they're setting out. Because one of the criticisms that has been rightly levelled at 5th edition is it doesn't actually tell you how to run the game.
It does in the DMG, doesn't it?
It gives you...
There's an awful lot of game master advice in the DMG.
There's a lot of advice, but it doesn't... It's quite... Some of it's quite generic. And the actual specifics about this is how you do it, and this is how it's broken down, I'd actually say relatively groundbreaking for Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
And by Dungeons and Dragons, I include all of the Pathfinder stuff. And basically, if you're going spelunking and there's a dungeon and there's a dragon, we include Pathfinder and the various editions here. So this is quite groundbreaking. Like this, breaking it into encounters and exploration and downtime explicitly.
Yes.
And if you don't know how to play Dungeons and Dragons because you have never played a role-playing game before, and you pick this book up and you read it, you will know in a lot more detail how to play this game.
Fair enough. Okay.
And it's like, it's a game. And it's such a... I know this shouldn't be a revolutionary role-playing game concept, but actually it is. Like, some things like the Powered by the Apocalypse world, that said in detail what you should be doing at each different point.
Yeah.
And that's why they've been so massively successful and spawned so many spin-offs. And this book, it says, this is basically, it's almost like a step-by-step guide about how you actually do it.
I mean, you are right. It does divide the game into 3 distinct modes, which you switch between.
Yes.
So there's the encounter mode, which is rounds.
Yes, yeah.
And then we've got exploration mode, which is kind of freeform.
Yeah.
Then you've got a downtime mode, which is kind of like a daily thing where you're getting on with other stuff.
And obviously, this is not revolutionary. Like, this is basically how you play the game. But what is revolutionary from my point of view is it's explicitly stated this is how you play the game.
Yeah.
And it breaks it down. So, like I say, this is aimed at people who have never played it before. Like, they don't understand how to play it because they haven't learned how to play it. This isn't aimed necessarily at Pathfinder players.
Yeah.
It's aimed at people who are like, I'll give this a whirl. This looks like a laugh. Pick it up. Oh, okay. Now I understand this. Like, this is... and there is... Oh, crikey. There's... I've got, like... I made some notes...
That's a lot of notes you've got there. How many pages of notes have you got there?
Well, quite a lot of this is just like things like how much of things there are, just so people can have an idea about what things have changed. But like in the Games Mastering advice, it's got things like gaming is for everyone. Never let those acting in bad faith undermine your game or exclude other players. Your efforts are part of the long-term process of making games and gaming culture welcoming to all. Working together, we can build a community where players of all identities and experiences feel safe.
Okay. Well,
that's powerful stuff.
So
I've got
that in my notes as well, actually. I've got this long list of notes here. That's like down in note number 16 of 20, actually. Because I went through the book in order, and that GM advising is further on.
Oh, the GM advice,
But yeah, certainly, like you said, there's things about setting tones and environments in there, planning campaigns.
Yes.
And they've got things like tools for responsible play, like X cards and stuff like that they've got information about.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like, it's got it's codified good practice. Like, and that is, like X cards, drawing veils, drawing lines. These are things which are like basically things that I recommend to all the like aspiring GMs to learn. But here, it's actually written in the book. They're actually saying this is how you should run the game. I subscribe to a Reddit called RPG Horror Stories just because I'm interested in seeing things that go wrong. And a lot of it is sometimes it's bad GMing, but other things are again, a quote from the book itself: the following acts should never be performed by player characters: torture, rape, non-sexual sexual contact or sexual threats, harm to children including sexual abuse, owning slaves or profiting from the slave trade, reprehensible uses of mind control magic. Villains might engage in such acts, but they won't happen on screen or won't be described in detail. May groups choose not to have villains engage in these activities or keeping these reprehensible acts out of mind entirely.
That's from the Pathfinder book.
That is a quote from the Pathfinder book. It's a hell of a thing. Yeah, I mean, it's like, maybe this should be in all the books. It's, like I say, codified good practice. I'm very, very impressed.
Cool.
Yeah.
So one thing I did notice, and I'm not sure whether this is new or not, but I feel like it is. Galarian, like Paizo's big sort of default equivalent of the Forgotten Realms, is kind of codified in the book as the default setting.
Yeah.
Which I don't think it was before. I could be wrong. I'd have to dig out Pathfinder 1 and look through it again, but I've got a feeling it wasn't.
Yeah. I mean,
there's a chapter in there about it, and it's also referenced elsewhere in the book.
Yeah. It is referenced elsewhere in the book, specifically the Adventures and the Adventure Paths and the Pathfinder Society.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be almost like a killer app for this, because I don't know Pathfinder, obviously, but they're saying you can take these pre-existing adventures and just straight up use them.
Yeah.
And that is like, because one of the things about Pathfinder that's always been amazing is the fact that they've had all these like really big, fantastically detailed stories.
Yeah, Paizo's really well known for its adventure paths.
Yeah, and so saying, and you'll be able to take this rule set and use any of the existing materials with them, and it's not mentioning a lot of conversion work, so I presume it's going to be very minimal changes, if any, you have to make.
guess so.
Yeah, and that for me is really attractive because one of the longest running games I've got in my club has been a conversion on the fly of Pathfinder to 5th edition.
Yeah.
So actually having to say, actually, we're going to just run it using Pathfinder 2. And I'm like, well, actually, yeah, this is simple enough to do. I don't know. There's a lot of options in here. And that's I don't know. I feel there's a lot of things that are codified. And again, that's what makes me think it's aimed at newer GMs, because they've always got something to turn to.
Should we dive into some details then? Do you reckon?
Oh, go on then.
So let's have a look at the character creation, which is a big part of the book.
Yes.
So characters, you have an ancestry, which is what they now call race.
Yes.
You have a background.
Yes.
And you have a class.
Yes.
So with the races,
yes.
It's pretty much a standard list of races you're going to get in D&D or Pathfinder.
Well, it's
a goblin.
Yes, it is a little bit shorter actually, which I was quite intrigued by.
Well, half-orc is gone. But it is there.
Yeah.
It is there.
If you thought it was gone, you have been bamboozled.
So each race has heritages, which are basically sub-races.
Yes.
And half-orc is a human heritage.
Yes.
So it's a sub-race.
As is half-elf.
As is half-elf.
Yes.
So it's got goblin.
Yes.
Obviously, it doesn't have D&D's tiefling and dragonborn.
No.
Because they're D&D-isms.
Yeah.
But so otherwise, fairly standard list of races.
Yeah. Dwarf, elf, gnome, goblin, halfling, human, and then each of these ancestries are broken down into 3 heritages.
So what I found really interesting
five.
Each race is 2 characters of the same race.
Yes. Same ancestry.
Same ancestry. Yes. Sorry, are not going to be the same as each other, because you don't just get this set list of things.
Yes.
You get a choice. Abilities.
Oh, yes, that's true. Yeah.
So if you're playing a dwarf and I'm playing a dwarf, you might choose a certain bunch of ancestry feats, and I might choose some different ones. So we'll end up with different dwarves, even though they're both the same ancestry.
But they will also be quite similar, because non-humans get 3 ability boosts and 1 floor, whereas humans get 2 free picks but no floor.
Yeah.
So I think that's mechanically balanced out. But does change it from, I think, because was that in Pathfinder as well? Do you remember?
Was what in Pathfinder? Sorry.
Different species, different heritages having deductions of stats.
Oh yeah. It's been D&D for years.
Yeah. Well, not in 5th edition. So
right. If I could just call up. Hang on a sec. I won't say call up because that implies that we have.
Let's flick through the book.
I'll just flick through the book. Let's pick a race.
Yes.
Let's just have a quick squiz at how it breaks down there. Look.
Yeah. Shall we pick one that we're familiar with and one we're not familiar with?
This is being a bit weird at me.
Yeah.
It's because it's a really big book and it's downloading, as
Yeah. How about halflings?
Zoom. Halflings. Is it
after G?
Before or after G? G. Halfling. Okay, so
yes.
So let's look at the halfling as an example then.
Okay,
so we got a page here just talking about halflings, why you might play a halfling, what they look like, things like that. Society, alignment, religion, names, all that sort of stuff. Then we go into the heritages.
Yes.
So the halfling has a gutsy halfling.
Yep.
A hillock halfling.
Yep.
A nomadic halfling. A twilight halfling.
Yep.
And a wildwood halfling.
Yep.
So each of those, they're fairly similar to each other. They've just got a few different little bits and pieces when it comes to languages, or like the twilight halfling can see in twilight, and gets low light division and all this sort of stuff. So they get little perks, but they're not.
They've got tweaks. They're not massively different.
Yeah. But then you get the feats. So the ancestry feats, you get an ancestry feat at certain levels. So you get them at level 1, 5, 9, 13 and 17, and you can choose one.
Okay, yeah.
So at first level, you could choose between Distracting Shadows, Halfling Lore, Halfling Luck, Halfling Weapon Familiarity, Sure Feet, Titan Slinger, Unfettered Halfling, and Watchful Halfling. if you're playing a Halfling, you're going to have a different feat selection.
Even if you're playing the same heritage of half. So say you both pick the same ancestry, halfling. You can, well, to be fair, that means that you could have a party of 5 halflings who'd all be distinct, And then you could further make them distinct.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's...
I mean, as you go up levels, there's fewer options. So at 5th level, you've only got a choice of 2.
Yeah.
Cultural adaptability and Halfling Weapon Trickster. 9th level, again, you've got a choice of 2, which is Guiding Luck and Irrepressible.
Yeah.
And 13th level, Ceaseless Shadows or Halfling Weapon Expertise.
Yeah. So that's like, yeah, but by that stage, you've gone beyond the first, 3-4 levels and got into like fairly high level play. So,
and of course, they're just your race, ancestry feats. You're going to be at other levels. You're going to be picking class feats, or you're going to be picking, all sorts of things. So you're doing things at every level.
And backgrounds are going to be important as well. Yeah.
So that's basically how the races.
The ancestries work. Yeah, it's going to take some getting used to saying that, isn't it? Yeah. So you'll be pleased to hear that of the book, ancestries compose 5.5% of the potential play.
Statistics. You even have a pie chart there.
I do have a pie chart though, which I'll be putting up on the 1st of August.
Is that a pie chart?
That is a pie chart.
With a hole in the middle.
Yeah, it's a ring chart.
It's a ring chart.
Yes.
It's a donut chart.
Yeah. Donuts.
It looks very nice.
Yeah. Again, it just, a thing that is often said is a book will tell you what it's about by the amount of space it devotes to each different thing.
Oh, so Pathfinder is about spells then, is it?
Pathfinder is very much about spells and classes. That's the 2 largest sections by quite some way.
Yeah.
27% of the book is about classes, which is about 2.3% per class. 20.1% is spells. Well, that does include some focus and class spells in there. And then the next largest section is crafting and treasure, which comes in at a whopping 11%.
That's the magic item list, though, isn't it?
But there are 9.5 pages of magic items, and these can all be crafted. And that is not something I can do in 5e. I'll tell you that right now.
What about classes then? So,
yes.
Standard list, pretty much.
Yeah.
I did notice one change. Paladin is now champion.
Yes. I don't know about changes, but if you are used to playing 5e, instead of a paladin and warlock, you would have an alchemist champion. Yeah.
I find that this is I think where this really has strength over D&D 5th edition.
Yeah.
Because I like 5th edition, but I do find the advancing your character lacks some depth that I would personally like to see.
Yeah.
And I think this is where Pathfinder is going to shine, because...
Oh, sorry. Oh, God damn it. Look. Okay, I'll just get to switch this off. Why? Enough of me. Oh, sorry.
Because as you go up levels, you're making a lot of choices. You're making choices at every level, and they're interesting, meaningful choices.
Yes.
And they do mean the 2 identical characters in terms of ancestry and class are still going to be extremely different to each other.
Yes, that is true. But one of the big advantages of 5th edition was you couldn't make a character that was just bad.
Sure, yeah.
And that was something that I really hated about 3.0, 3.5.
You could make a rubbish character, yeah.
Yeah, if you did not plan your character out to 20, you were going to have a bad time. I had a bad time.
So I don't know how that will play out in this.
No,
it's hard to tell.
No, it's like, I think that's going to be a case of hitting the table and saying, but I'm optimistic.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic. They've done a lot of things that give me confidence. This is clearly a game that has had a lot of thought put into it.
They also give you quite a lot of advice, though. So they give you those sample builds. Like, look at the rogue. They've got some sample builds, including like the rogue scoundrel.
Yes.
Or you look at the ranger. They've got some sample builds, including like I think the animal ranger and there's the ranger archer.
Yes.
So they show you how to build these different types.
Yeah.
And how to do that well. So if you just want to, if you
just
want to take the D&D 5e approach and go, I just want to be a Beastmaster Ranger, which is what you say in D&D.
Yes.
And I know I won't build a bad character because it's kind of done for me.
Yes.
You can do that here too. You can just go, I'm going to use that Animal Ranger build that it's shown me and go ahead with that.
I'm just going to throw in, there are 4 pages of rules for animal companions, which is quite nice. And there's a whole page of rules for familiars, as opposed to the beefy paragraph.
What that isn't? There is no rules on clearing up animal companion poop.
Well, I think that's just up to the GM, and it's probably going to be rolling against your Animal Companions DC. You see, I feel confident about the system, and I have to tell you.
As a person who has, for most of my adult life, had Animal Companions of my own, I assure you that ferrying poop around the neighbourhood is one of the primary responsibilities of
a Beastmaster. Oh, okay. Well, I just have cats, so they go and make the poop someone else's problem, to be fair.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I am the carrier of dog poo throughout Harefield.
That's good to know.
Sometimes 2 or 3 bags at a time.
Shall we do a lightning blitz through the various different subclasses? So just shout out some names. The Alchemist goes into Bomber, Chirurgeon and Mutagenist, which I'm guessing involves some sort of surgical stuff and someone that mutates you.
Bear in mind, they're just like sample builds. You're free to pick any selections of feats.
Well, that seems to be like, well, these aren't the sample builds per se. This is sort of like the path that you start off down, is how I interpret it. Could be wrong. Barbarians have 5 different instincts. The animal fights unarmed. The dragons have breath weapons. The Fury seems to be more your generic angry barbarian. The Giant is able to use bigger weapons without a penalty. And the Spirit Barbarian deals typed positive or negative damage, which I thought was very interesting. The Bard breaks down into 3 Muses, an Enigma, a Maestro, a Polymath. All good names. The Champions, these Paladins that have changed, they've changed it because the Paladin is now like almost a subclass with it. You've got Paladin, Redeemer and Liberator, which combine to... They're all good.
And they're all good, I noticed that, yeah.
Lawful, neutral and chaotic, respectively. The Clerics, the gods are super important. There's a big list of gods as well. And that gets where you get your skills and proficiencies. Druids, trained in an armoured defence. Monks don't get subclasses per se. They've got different stances, though, if you want to build into it. Rangers have ranger things, as you say. Animal companions exist. There's a lot of flexibility. Rogues, we've got ruffians who are strong, scoundrels, fast talkers, thieves who are burglars. The sorcerers have 10 bloodlines. The wizards have the classic schools, necromancy, conjuration, etc. But you can also have a universalist wizard who gains extra feats. And also one of the other things I noticed is the saves. Because if you're familiar with 5th edition, you know that characters get like a good stat save, like Will, Con or Dex, and a bad stat save like Strength, Intelligence, Charisma, which are a lot less relevant. Here you still have Fortitude, Reflex and Will. These are the classic ones. But there's different levels of proficiency. So the monks are actually experts at all saves. Whereas the wizards are only counted as trained in 2 saves and experts at will saves. I thought that was interesting. Interesting stuff. But 10 bloodlines for sorcerers. But it does break it down further into the 4 schools of magic. Although I really do need to check up on what elemental stuff is about.
Okay.
Yeah.
So point 9 on my list of talking points.
Yes.
Jumping into skills.
Oh yeah.
So Pathfinder 1 and D&D 3.x, they had skill ranks that went from 0 and just went up.
Yeah.
So you'd have sort of like 17 ranks in bluffing or something.
Yeah.
I had a player, Nick, who had, I think it was like plus 40 or something in use magic device in a 3.5 campaign. He was a bard, and by the time he got to about 18th level, basically he just focused on doing that.
He was like, you know what I want to do? I want to be able to pick a magic thing and say, oh yes, that's nice, how this works. Fuck oom.
So we've got a different approach here. And of course, in 5e you have skill proficiencies and skills.
Yes, which is pretty basic and it depends on your level.
It's kind of more of a binary thing, isn't it? You either got it or you haven't.
You got it or you don't got it. There is no in between.
As a midpoint, Pathfinder 2 is a midpoint between those 2 things. So it's gone with 5 skill levels.
I think one of the recurring themes will be it's 5th Ed plus. 5th Ed plus some extra subtlety.
Some extra granularity, I think, is the...
Yes, that's what we're after. There is more... it's definitely... If you're playing 5th Ed, I think you should find this quite a familiar experience.
Oh, but yeah. It's still the D20 system. I mean, you're still going to be able to do it.
There's a lot of similarities I am noticing.
So we've got these 5 skill levels, and these are untrained, trained, expert, master, and legendary.
Yes, which all give you different bonuses.
And also access to certain skill uses. So
Yes.
sometimes some skill uses, you have to have a certain level of training
Yes.
to even try it.
Yes.
Other things you can do untrained.
Yes, yeah, that's correct. Because I thought there were only 17 skills. I'm like, well, are we still playing Pathfinder? Because I'm used to the 4,
I've got
5
that note
columns.
as well. Skill list pared down to 17 skills.
But is it really? Is it really? No, it is not. Don't worry, Pathfinder fans, you'll be pleased to hear there's actually over at least 20 different ways to apply these 17 skills. For instance, on page 237, there are 3 paragraphs on how to make tea. Obviously, has a Brit time. I'm intensely pleased by
That's
this.
a sidebar, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a sidebar. There's 3
It's an
paragraphs.
example.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
it's a 3-paragraph example on how to make tea.
Yes.
But to be fair, it's legit. It does make sense. But yeah, I thought I'd pull that out.
So feats. So this is basically the core of the game's depth.
Yes.
This is where all the depth comes from. It's the feat system.
Yeah.
And it's basically the core of the game overall, I think.
I would disagree that it's where all of it comes from, but definitely a lot.
Well, everything that used to not be a feat is now a feat. So basically, all those racial abilities that you used to have, they're now ancestry feats. All those class abilities, they're now class feats. You get skill feats.
Right.
They're like, everything is now a feat. There's archetype feats. And that's what they've done. They've made one single mechanic. Basically, you'll get, when you're creating your character, you're building it out of a massive smorgasbord of feats and picking and choosing, and like the classes and the races just give you narrow down what you can choose from.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned archetypes, and I think we should take a second to have a word about multiclassing.
Okay, you can do that.
You don't.
No, go for it.
No, well, that's the thing. No, you don't multiclass.
I was going to say,
the leveling up system is it's 1,000 XP. It's a level up. If you earned over 1,000 XP, then like if you earned 2,000 XP, that's 2 levels. 1,999, that's 1 level, and your character resumes play with 999 XP. I think that's really elegant. Your level means your AC, attack roll, perception, saving throw, skill modifiers, spell attack rolls, and class CC all increase by at least 1. And that's from the book. So that's pretty good. And how do they balance, like having all these classes? What happens if you multiclass? And the answer is you don't multiclass. You adopt an archetype. And you have to spend, like, I'm a bit vague because I'm not used to the generation, but you make you make your character by choosing. You take a dedication feat rather than taking a level in something.
I got slightly confused looking at this section.
Yes.
Too. But I think might be just because when I read archetype, I think subclass.
Yes, and that's not what this
and
is.
they've kind of changed. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and that's what those heritages are now.
no,
not
heritages are sub-races.
The class ones. Sorry.
I don't think they've got a special name for like these different things that they've got going on. Like they're not. I don't know. I guess subclass is what I'd call them. But archetypes now refers to something different. You take a dedication feat, and you can take further level appropriate feats from the list of feats in the archetype list.
So basically, what you do is you sort of, if you're a ranger and you want a bit of barbarian, you take the barbarian dedication feat.
Yes.
I'm going to check in with you. Is this what you do?
Yes.
I did read it, but stuck. And then that gives you access to further
level appropriate feats from the list of feats in the archetype list for barbarian.
Yes.
So you can't pick any barbarian.
So in place of your ranger feats, you can now take those feats.
That's correct.
Yeah. Got it.
But you can't take it from the barbarian list. You can only take it from the archetype list.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah,
got it.
Which actually
it's simpler than we just made it sound.
Yeah. And to be fair, I think that's generally true of Pathfinder too. It's simpler than it sounds.
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of beautiful simplicity to it. If you're familiar with the passive abilities from 5th edition, which is essentially passive perception, is the most famous one. It's 10 plus your ability score plus your proficiency. That is, they've taken that idea and they've really like ground it into the system.
Oh, what have they done?
Yeah, it's like it's all over the place. Like that when it talks about your DC that people are rolling against, that's what it's referring to.
Okay.
And they made it. It's got the Pathfinder bonuses and so forth. Those are still in place. You have proficiency, circumstance, item, or status bonuses, and you choose the biggest of these to add.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, I
No.
missed that. Okay.
Yeah, you did. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. That's something.
I did miss that. Okay.
You don't have to add 57 different types of bonuses. You choose from amongst
Because that's one thing that I always feel that 5th edition has over Pathfinder
Yes.
is the advantage-disadvantage system is so much better than messing around with a bunch of different fiddly +1, -1 bonuses and penalties.
Did you miss that they have this in Pathfinder as well?
Do they now have this?
They have fortune. You spend hero points to have fortune.
Oh, yeah,
which lets you reroll, or to have advantage or disadvantage. No. I mean, you still got like this granularity, but instead of like, okay, well, I've got +1 because I got nice shoes, or +1 because like the light's in their eyes and I'm above them, and another +2 because I'm above them. You say, okay, well, I've got +2 because I'm above them. The +1 because the light's in your eyes doesn't apply. You just choose the biggest one, and then you also with the penalties. You go for circumstance, item, or status as well, and these also affect it. So
I think I might still be tempted just to port over advantage disadvantage because I do love that mechanic.
It does have advantage and disadvantage,
not in the same way. It's got the penalties and bonuses,
you could use exactly that. It's like, well, you've got a spot of misfortune applies to you, and you can spend one of your fortune.
No, but I mean instead of the bonuses and the penalties.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, you could very easily play this if you wanted to, just using proficiencies and I don't know, items, and ignore status and circumstances. I'd question why you would, except to save yourself things. A lot of the time they're saying just make a flat roll. So it's interesting. Sorry.
What about equipment? Because before we started, you commented on something you liked about that.
Equipment, so shiny, so much of it.
You liked the new encumbrance system, didn't you?
Yes. Oh, wow. Bulk. B-U-L-K. Bulk. It's a fun word to say, and also, I got to say, like one of the best ways to do it I've seen in quite some time.
Now, it takes into account weight and size, which is nice.
Yeah. So, how to do it? So, characters can carry 5 plus their like strength bonus.
It was something like that,
something like that. Please forgive me if I'm not 100% on the ball.
I think it
was,
and there was something else that gave you 10 plus the strength bonus, but I can't remember what that was.
Oh yeah, there's almost definitely a feat. We are still playing Pathfinder. And also in the GM guide, it does go into further detail. So if you've got items which weigh between 1 and 5 pounds are like pretty light, so you can carry 10 of those, and that counts as 1 bulk. Like big bulky things have their own bulk. You can carry as many negligible items which are less than 1 pound, as long as you're not like taking the mickey, in which case the GM is allowed to say no. Oh, and also it allows you to track coins as well, but it says just do it for multiples of 1,000 coins. So like 1,000 coins is 1 bulk, but don't bother tracking 900 coins.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, which I really like. It's elegant. It's simple. I intend to inflict it on my players.
Other than that, the equipment chapter is pretty much standard fare, isn't it? It
depends where you're coming from. Certainly, if you come from 5e, you'll be like looking going, oh, this is really clever. I got to say, I thought it was really clever. Like, one of the things I really liked has like just a little throw in there was the bulwark feature, which applies to full plate armor, which basically gives you, like if you get hit by a dex-based saving throw effect, it gives you +3 to this, just because you're wearing full plate armor, so you're not at a massive disadvantage. Also, the check penalties, if you have sufficient strength to wear it, the check penalty is removed.
Okay.
Again, I really like that. So it's like you've got penalties for wearing armor that's too heavy, but if you're strong enough, you're okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I noticed you can get class adventuring kits, one for each different class, which gives you. I can't remember what was in them, to be honest, now, but I did notice them at the time.
Yeah,
it's about a page of them, isn't there?
Yeah, it's got 1 page. It goes through each class and says, if you're not bothered with like buying your kit, just go with this. You're done.
Yeah. Shields taking damage.
Sorry?
Shields taking damage.
Yes. I do like that. One of the things I was intrigued by is fighters automatically have raised shield or something, or shield something.
Well, I get that. Let's get into that when we go into the combat section, because that's one of the things I want to talk about that I really, really like.
Yeah, but all fighters have this. It's like actually a class feature. So they clearly feel strongly that if you're a fighting chap, you should have a way to use a shield better than other people.
Yeah. Spells.
Spells.
It's a big section of the book. What percentage of the book did you say it was?
I said 124 pages. It's 20.1%.
A lot of spells.
That's a lot of spells.
I mean, every edition of D&D's had this, so it's always a big section of the book is the spells.
Yes.
Because that's just how D&D works, and variations of D&D work. It's still fancy and magic. So for those who don't know, sort of D&D's core Fire and Forget spell slot magic system is it's been around since the 70s, and it's based on the books of Jack Vance, where you basically you memorise a spell, you cast it, and it gets wiped from your mind.
Tales from a Dying Earth. But to be fair, the spells that they were using, thrown around in that were pretty solid. It's like, I'll just send you straight into the sky and forget about you because you're gone now. Bye.
Oh, it's been years since I've read any of those. God, long time. Like I was a kid when I read those. But anyway,
cantrips are at-will spells now.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm pretty sure was stolen from 5th Ed, which stole it from 4th Ed.
I think Pathfinder 1 had that. I think.
Did it?
I'm not sure.
Oh,
Can't remember.
Because I was playing 3 point something, which I thought was basically the same. I used up my cantrips. I was like,
I might be wrong.
No, I don't know. But yeah, if you like at-will spells, then cantrips are there. I did notice that you definitely have more of them.
Yeah. So I noticed that spells are divided into 4 traditions.
Yes.
So these traditions essentially tell you which classes have access to them.
Yeah.
So there's 4 traditions.
You had Arcane and Divine, which is pretty standard. And you also have Primal and Occult as well.
So Primal is for Druids.
Yes.
And Occult is for Bards primarily.
Yes. That's
Arcane is for Wizards and Sorcerers. And Divine is for Clerics.
I guess, yeah.
Basically,
and probably...
Some
Divine spellcasters.
Some variations of the Champion, the Paladin maybe, or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, sure. Well.
But so each spell, when you look at it, and they've got it in these little colour-coded blocks as well. So it's really so nice. You can look at a spell and it go, okay, this spell is an Arcane and Primal spell.
Yes.
So you know instantly which classes have access to it.
Ah, yes, nice.
Previously, what they would have is they would literally list the classes that had access.
Right.
So I can see
coding is nicer.
Well, I can see the reason they've done this, because that means if they write a later book and they just say, right, this is a primal class. They don't have to a primal class that chooses primal spells. They don't have to go back and edit the core rulebook and add that class in.
There we go. Yeah, because it's yes. So they've said we're going to. They've fought ahead. They've it's sister. It's a complete game. I've definitely got that impression, but they have the ability to add expansions in. There's a lot of thought gone into this,
So spells take between 1 and 3 actions generally, unless they're taking like minutes or hours. They take between 1 and 3 actions, depending on. I think it's basically based on which components they've got.
Well, spells I think are generally activities. But yes, it does depend.
So if you've got a verbal, somatic, and material components, you might be casting the spell might take 3 actions.
Yeah.
Whereas a magic missile, which is basically point and fire, might be just 1 action.
Okay, yeah.
So because it has a 3 action economy, your spells might take 1, 2, or 3 actions to cast.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Which I really like. I mean, we've got onto the action economy in a bit, but I really, really, really do like it. Should we dig out a spell and have a just quickly glance at a random spell?
Yes.
So let me call up a spell.
I noticed things like shield. That's now a cantrip. That's traditionally playing around with our class. Detect magic is now a cantrip.
Spells. I'm just flipping through the book here. Here we go.
Okay. It's easy to find
lots of spells. Lots of spells. Okay. So let's pick a spell.
Let's try something about quite low level. What about
magic? Should we look at magic missile?
Yeah, magic missile.
That's kind of
everyone likes magic missile.
Everyone knows what that is. So I'm just flicking through the pages here. Magic missile, massacre. It's going to be before massacre, before Mariner's Curse.
Magic weapon, magic missile.
Okay, so there's spell 1 in the top right corner.
Yeah, so that tells us what level it is.
It says evocation and force. Okay. So that's the types of stuff. So traditions, arcane, and occult.
Nice.
So that basically means
it's available
a bard and a wizard and a sorcerer, I think.
Yeah.
Then we got cast, and it tells you the number of actions, and there's a little symbol.
Yes, there's a little symbol.
So there's 3 different symbols they use. There's one that's for 1 action, 1 for 2 actions, 1 for 3 actions, and it's just the number of little diamonds there are.
Yeah, and that one looks like it can be 1 to 3.
Yeah, so it depends on how many missiles you want to fire.
Okay.
Range and a target.
Yeah.
Little description there. You send dart of force streaking towards. Everyone knows what a magic missile description reads like, but and then they've got a section below that saying heightened. So you shoot one additional missile with each action you spend.
Nice.
So you can heighten any spell by whacking it into a higher spell slot.
Yeah, so instead of sending, 3, you could send 6 magic missiles.
So if you have a look, at this mage hand here,
Yeah.
it's got heightened at 3rd edition.
Yeah.
3rd level. So it's a cantrip one.
Yes.
So heightened, 3rd level. If you whack it into a 3rd level spell slot, you can target an unattended object with a bulk of 1 or less. If you whack it into a 5th level spell slot, the range increases to 60 feet.
I think with cantrips, they are based that you can always cast them. They're at will, and you cast them automatically at the level of the highest spell slot you have.
Yeah, okay.
I think I read that.
All right, let's look at Magic Aura here then, which isn't a cantrip. So it's a 1st level spell.
Yeah.
So heightened 3rd. So you can whack it in a 3rd level spell slot and you can target a creature instead of an object.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
they just have specific
So that's how they
effects
do
that
the
happen as you
upcasting. They say
Yeah.
it's heightened. Yeah, okay, yeah. But I really like the fact that your cantrips improve as you level. So like things like Mage Hand increasing is it's pretty nice.
Yeah, so that's basically the spells. I mean, it's a big section of the book, and it's basically got all the spells you're familiar with.
Yes.
Probably a bunch of new spells. I mean, a lot of them are, D&Ds and going back.
Well, 10 levels of spells, so they've...
Well, there is that,
they've
So you only get one 10th level spell ever, don't you? And I think there's one way to get a second one.
Oh, okay.
But generally speaking, a character's only ever going to have one 10th level spell.
Yes, I did have a look specifically at Wish.
Okay.
Because that's traditionally your game-breaking spell. And that was quite interesting because with Wish, which is a 10th level spell, you can duplicate any 9th level or below arcane spell or any 7th level or below non-arcane spell. Or like do any effect which would be reasonable to match that.
Yeah. Let's have a look at some more 10th level spells then, just out of curiosity.
I saw Gate was in there.
Let's have a look at what they are. Spells.
Do we have a... I think they surely got a list of like the spells...
Somewhere, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what page it would be on there.
Well, if we
Dragonfall...
more towards the front of it, I think.
So I'm paging through the D's, the C's.
Because doesn't it have a list of all the spells by skull?
Here we go. So Primal 10th level spells has Cataclysm,
Nice.
Nature Incarnate, Primal Herd, Transform willing creatures into mammoths. Excellent. Primal Phenomenon, Remake and Revival.
Okay, nice.
Let's have a look. What else do we have? So the Occult 10th level spells.
Yeah.
We have Auto Reality.
Oh, nice.
Fabricated Truth.
Yeah.
Gate, Remake, and Time Stop.
Oh, get in.
Yeah.
A little bit of time stop.
Nothing like a bit of time stop. Divine 10th level spells. We have
Yeah.
Avatar. Transform into a battle form determined by your deity. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Gate.
Just as long as you've got
Gate's
the right...
popping up a lot in these.
Just as long as it's like, I don't know, not the goddess of love or something, you're probably right.
Remake. That's popped up 3 times now.
Yeah.
Miracle and Revival.
Yeah.
And then the Arcane 10th level spells are going to be Cataclysm.
Yeah.
Gate. Remake. Time Stop. And Wish.
Okay. So Wish, no... Yeah, because, I mean, that's... interesting. Wish, basically, let you do everything else that everyone else could do. But, yeah. But it doesn't have the... Like, there was a requirement that every time you cast it, you had a chance of losing it. So, yeah. Huh. Yes.
So moving on, let's have a look.
Yes.
So looking at the general sort of rules, sort of skills and checks and things like that.
Yes.
So what I like is rather than having lots of subsystems, they've reduced the complexity in that there's basically one system.
Yes.
And they retain the depth of defeat systems I mentioned earlier.
Yes.
So I've noticed that all checks, whether it's an attack or a skill check or whatever, they have 4 degrees of success.
Yes. You got the critical success, failure, and critical failure. Because I remember seeing a 20 is always a critical, 1 is always a...
But also...
Wait, is that right? Is 20 critical?
So critical is if you beat your target by 10.
Yes.
And hit.
Yes.
And a failure is if you miss your target by 10.
Yes.
So...
That's critical failure.
Yeah.
Missing target by 10.
Yeah. And so for every action you might take, it will list 4 different results.
Yes.
Depending on whether you've got which of those 4 degrees of success you've got.
Did you crit succeed? Did you succeed? Did you fail or did you crit fail?
Yes, yeah. And it happens with a skill check, happens with an attack roll, happens with basically anything you're going to roll.
Saving throws as well.
Yeah, anything you're going to roll a d20 for
is
pretty much going to happen with.
Yes.
There may be exceptions, but offhand I don't know what those are.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like that. So there's a level of granularity straight in there at the core.
Yes.
Just like baked straight in there at the core. And it's a very, very, very simple level of that. You know, there's no consulting of tables or charts or anything like this. It's literally just, did you beat it by 10? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And that's critical.
Yeah.
That's definitely interesting. Certainly adds to the joys of, and because also saving throws get played around with a bit. Like, you know, if you know 5th edition, you're familiar with the casting mechanics, save generation. But now, it's generally if you crit fail a saving throw, it's double damage. And if you crit succeed a saving throw, it's no damage. So it's normally you get damage or save for half.
Yeah. Well, I love the +10, -10 thing. So rather than just being keyed to a 20 or a 1, it's the +10 or -10 basically means if you're like a really, really, really powerful character versus a weak one, you've got much more chance of critting them and much less chance of fumbling against them.
Yes.
And vice versa. So the first level goblin has much less chance of critting Achilles, for example.
But wouldn't they always crit on a 20, or did I just read?
Do they still have to hit? I'm not sure. You'd have to check.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, yeah, maybe if it... Oh, don't know.
Yeah, I think I do remember seeing that in there.
Yeah. Okay, so it sort of keeps that bounded accuracy feel.
You can see it on the podcast. You can see all the pages turning.
Yeah. Well, it's a great podcast. Let me rustle this paper a bit louder. Rustle. Yeah. Because, like I say, there's just so much. I actually had to make notes to try and keep up with what's going on. What about ritual casting?
I didn't read that section in detail. I glanced at it. So did you? If you read that better than me?
I did read it in a bit more depth. You can be a primary cast for a ritual.
You can be what? Sorry.
You can be the primary caster for a ritual.
Primary caster for a ritual. Yeah.
Even if you can't cast spells.
Okay.
You have to know the ritual.
Yep.
But you don't have to know any spell slots.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that make the spell take longer?
No, it's just like rituals are at least an hour long and often quite dangerous.
Are they a separate category of spells then?
They are definitely a separate category of spells.
I literally didn't read that section.
No, I just thought it was really interesting, and it does give non-spellcasters a chance to get involved in that sort of plot-related shenanigans.
Well, there's definitely a whole genre of spellcasters. So I kind of think back to things like, like something like Buffy or something.
Yes.
Like Giles would find a spell in a book and he'd cast it just by following the instructions like a recipe.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's a ritual.
That's literally ritual magic as opposed to what happens with D&D,
Yeah.
I found the rest of my notes. You've got to know the ritual. The ritual spell level can be no higher than half your level rounded up.
Okay.
So if you've got a suitably high level NPC, like academic or whatever, who can't cast spells, that explains why you then have to do that escort mission to get them to the place, and why they're like, but you're a 20th level wizard, why aren't you just casting fireball at everything or just gating us there? Because they don't know how. They've studied the ritual, but they can't cast spells. And that's nice. I like that. Or or your fighter has learned something. They can lead a ritual, but they don't know a lot about it, but they know how the ritual magic works. The other thing is you must have the required proficiency rank in the skill used for the ritual's primary check. That was very interesting. I did like that. Yes.
Can we talk about 3-action economy now?
Yes,
Combat.
Let's talk about 3-action. Let's talk about combat. Okay, right. So roll for initiative. What do you roll?
Offhand, I would say it's going to be a D20 plus your Dex mod plus maybe a skill proficiency bonus. I'm not sure.
You'd be wrong.
Okay, tell me what you roll.
Perception.
Oh, guess I did know
Wisdom
that. I played the playtest. I know that. Right? No. The clever thing about it is, I don't know if it's changed.
Or perception. Or have relevant skill.
Right, so that is something I really like.
Yeah.
I totally forgot.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
So if your rogue is sneaking along, he can roll stealth for initiative.
Precisely.
Yeah, love that. Absolutely love that. Brilliant.
You roll whatever skill check seems relevant.
Yeah.
If you're not sure, You go with perception.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
That's good. That's good.
Again,
I like that.
That's something I would like adopt into any game I play.
Yeah, I gotta say.
I'm going to do it in any type of RPG I'm playing now that has an initiative system. I'm going to be doing that.
Yeah, that seems fair. I like it.
It just makes sense. It's like one of those things like, why didn't everyone always do that?
Yeah, no, indeed. It's like...
it just takes someone to have the idea, I suppose.
Yeah, to write it down.
Yeah. What I also love is that 3-action economy, though. Because I found... just reading it, I think possibly you won't quite get a sense of it. But when we were doing the playtest, we all agreed. I mean, there were flaws with the playtest material, which
it's a playtest
has changed since then. But one thing that really stood out was the way combat worked with this 3-action thing. So in most games you'll probably take a move and an action. It's probably the sort of thing you've got available to you.
Yeah.
And what sort of new you've got 2 actions, various different things. So in Pathfinder 2nd edition you've got 3 actions.
Yes.
So some things like spells might cost you 1, 2 or 3 actions.
Yeah.
But otherwise you can move and attack, or you can move and attack and move, or you can spend those 3 actions how you like.
Yes. Yeah.
But it does force you to sometimes make choices to do things that used to be a passive bonus in your character sheet.
Ah, okay.
And I'm thinking about shields in particular here.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, when we did a playtest, people were all saying it really felt like having to use an action to raise your shield made them feel like they had a shield.
You said that before. I was listening before, but now I have a much better understanding of what the hell you're talking about.
I mean, when you say that, people just think that just sounds more complex. And I get why it does sound like that until you do it, and then you realise it feels right.
It's more immersive, I could say, yeah.
It feels like your shield is a thing you're doing.
It's important. And there are more shields, and your shield matters.
Yeah, and I love that. I absolutely love it.
And you can do more things with your shield as
well.
You
could choose not to raise your shield. You could choose to keep it down and have another attack. Or whatever.
Or do whatever else you're doing. But raising your shield gives you a shield bonus until the start of your next turn, which is nice. You can take cover behind a tower shield. Yeah. I raise my shield and take cover behind it. And that's not to say... It's not just... It has a mechanical effect. Yeah. I think that's where the real, shield usage is an action. And it feels right that it should do. And you actually get, a quantifiable mechanical effect as opposed to go, oh, that's nice, but what you're actually doing. Yeah. And also the difference between a step and a stride. Right, okay. I didn't check that, so tell me what that is. Well, if you take the stride action, you gain... movement equal to your speed value. So, okay, it's just a move, yeah? Yep. And a step is a 5-foot step, is it? A step is a 5-foot step, but of course you could take multiple strides. Yep. And, breaking it away from the movement means you can avoid things like the dance of the sugar plum goblins, where, terrible GMing occurs and goblins come up to you, attack you, and then waltz away and so forth. There was a loophole in, I think it was 3E. I gotta remember this. So basically, if you had a chain of kobolds stretching all the way across America, there was an ability that allowed you to take a 5-foot step with every if you killed something. So in theory, you could stand in New York, and as long as these creatures are weak enough, and you're killing them with one blow each, you cross America in 6 seconds. Nice. Okay. I had heard about the Mount Highway, which is where there's a saddle, and because mounting and dismounting was a free action, you could mount, dismount, move 5 foot forwards, mount, dismount, and basically not hopscotch. Leapfrog your way. Leapfrog your way to where you needed to be. I think games very quickly learn to limit the number of free actions you can have in a given round. Yes, because gamers. Yes, we're talking to you. Yes, you know what you did. Well, there's other stuff with the combat. There's conditions. Multiple strikes per turn. They have allowed for multiple attacks. Yep. But obviously you get a penalty with it. Is it -5 then -10, is it? Yeah, it's not -5, -10. Yeah. Yeah. It's nice. Yeah. So conditions, pretty standard looking list. Yeah. Similar to what was in 3E, similar to what was in Pathfinder 1E, similar to what's in 5e. D&D 5e. A few differences, but largely what you'd expect. But they are all well codified and laid out.
Damage types, again, standard sort of stuff you'd expect to see.
The problem is the explanations do... I think they're going to put a lot of people off. And, I quote, Eric rolls a second attack with a Ghast, this time with its claw. Normally this attack would take a -5 multiple attack penalty, but since the claw has the agile trait, the penalty is only -4. He rolls a 19 on the die, adds 11 to the ghoul's attack modifier, and subtracts 4 for a total of 26.
Right, you're hitting on a one problem I did have with the playtest, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Bloody keywords everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of them, and I spent a hell of a lot of time asking my players, what does agile mean? What does finesse mean? What does this mean? What does that mean?
Yeah.
And there's so many of them. I think that's the one bit where you do need to get some system mastery in.
Yeah.
Or you're going to need some kind of hand... I suppose you could probably do a handout with a list of them or something, but...
Well, I think you should take a cue from some guy called Russ Morrissey for his Judge Dredd GM screen. He actually had a list of offences and sentences that could be applied to character to
on the player facing side. So yeah, you can put that on the player facing side of a GM screen.
I would totally put that on the player facing side of the GM screen.
Yeah. So that's definitely one criticism I would have is a lot of these keywords.
So many keywords.
I mean, you know, they do it so they don't have to write the same thing out over and over again.
Yeah, no,
which is an older way of, you know.
No, absolutely.
And I get why, but there's a lot of them, and a lot of them look like they sound like they would be the same thing because they're kind of like similar words.
Yeah, I think they
like deadly and dangerous. And
in fairness, they use capitalisation quite a bit to indicate when they're talking about a rule, and they use italics to talk about when they're talking about a spell magic item, which is fair. But you are going to have to learn that skill to be able to decode what you're reading.
Yeah, I mean, Pathfinder has a lot of, especially because I've published for Pathfinder 1 a lot. Pathfinder has a lot of things like you italicise this, you have a capital letter on this, but not on this unless it's this, and all this sort of stuff. And there's a lot of that in there, which I got to admit, I find personally a little bit onerous.
No, I can see that. With the damage types, because I love a good bit of damage type, me. You have chaotic and lawful and good and evil types of damage, which only damage creatures of the opposite alignment.
Yep.
Yeah. So you can smack the party with 28 good damage, and when the alchemist falls over, you're like, he was secretly evil all along.
So it's your detect magic spell, basically. You just attack people with detect evil spell. You just attack people with good damage and see what happens.
Smite evil for 50 good.
You just walk into a room and just call down a firestorm of good damage and just see who dies.
Yeah, exactly. And you're in here. Actually, let's have a look in the spells. Can I have a look in the spells list for detect good?
If you wish.
Yeah. Okay. Well, detect evil was the go-to cantrip of people playing lawful stupid paladins.
Yeah. So let me have a look. Detect evil then.
Yeah.
See, dark vision,
detect
magic, detect poison, detect alignment.
Detect alignment.
So spell 1, first level spell.
Yeah.
Uncommon, I don't know what that means. Detection, divination.
Yeah.
Traditions, divine or occult.
Okay.
Okay, so a wizard and a sorcerer can't use them.
Yeah.
Cast is 2 actions, somatic and verbal. Area, 30-foot emanation. Your eyes glow as you sense aligned auras. Choose chaotic, evil, good, or awful. No, lawful. Awful. You detect auras of that alignment.
Yeah.
You receive no information beyond presence or absence. You can choose not to detect creatures or effects you're aware have that alignment. And then if you heightened it to 2nd level, you then get to learn their location and strength of each one.
Okay. You receive no information beyond presence or absence.
Yeah.
So I guess if there's just 2 people in the room, you can say, well, there's someone chaotic or there's someone evil.
If you whack it up to 2nd level, then you do know.
Right. Okay, so that does make it a bit more pricey to cast. But yeah, it's not an at-will ability anymore.
No, spell 1.
Yes, so it has a resource cost.
Yeah.
So you may play lawful stupid if you wish. But we can't.
Yeah.
Or you can play awful stupid if you wish.
Awfully stupid, yes.
Yes.
What do you think of the death system? Did you check that out? The death and damage system?
What kind of GMing noob do you take me for, Mr. Morris? What kind of GMing noob?
Yeah. So you can't go below 0 HP anymore in Pathfinder.
Yes.
You used to be able to go below 0.
Did you have the old if you take double your hit points in damage, you insta-jibbed?
Probably.
Okay, yeah, well, that's in that case, that remains firmly in place.
Okay, so you gain the dying condition.
Yes.
Which has 4 levels.
Yes.
4 is dead.
Yes.
1 is just, like, a bit unconscious.
Yeah. you're a bit dying, but it's okay, it's not that bad, yeah.
And then each round you roll, and I know it was a flat roll, not affected by any ability modifiers. So you roll plus your dying condition value. So the closer you are to death, the harder it is to recover.
Okay.
To see whether you get better or worse.
Right.
And if you hit 4, you die.
Yes.
I guess if you go above 1 to 0, you recover or not. I don't remember.
That's well. Wait, I'll come on to that in a second. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's basically how that works.
Yeah. So interesting things. If you go to 0 hit points, your initiative changes to just before the creature that hurt you.
Oh yeah. So that was the thing. So you didn't have that happen, then suffer from the penalty immediately, just because your round was straight after them.
Exactly.
So that's a really clever little way of just making sure that doesn't happen.
And it also, if they acted just before you and you go down, then someone heals you.
Someone's got a chance to heal you.
And it acts again to knock you down. Or someone's got a chance to heal you, you've got a chance to run away.
Yeah.
As opposed to the situation you could be in where you're sort of like yo-yoing up and down and getting murdered all the time. Yeah. And this is relevant because of the wounded condition. Did you see the wounded condition?
No.
Oh, well, let me tell you about it. So
Tell me about the wounded condition.
If you're dying...
Tell me.
If you're dying,
tell me more about the wounded condition.
If you're dying and get restored, you get wounded 1. And then if you then start dying again, you get your dying plus... You start with your dying plus your wounded level.
Oh, I see. So you can't keep yo-yoing indefinitely.
No. If you have wounded 3 or wounded 4, then you're like... Actually, guys, I've changed my mind. This fight not such a good place for me anymore.
So I suppose the effect of moving your initiative to just before the creature that wounded you means your allies always have a full round to save you. Whatever happens, there's always going to be a full round.
Yes.
And then maybe you'll go down, but it's not going to happen immediately.
These dying rules are actually relatively harsh, considering how at low levels you're always a bit of a yo-yo. You can remove this wounded condition by having someone treat wounds on you or being restored to full HP and resting for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Also, hero points.
Yes.
Which I shall refer to as herps from now on. They give you heroics. Yeah, herps. They give you heroic recovery, allowing you to herp back into action with no wounds and 1 HP. So, and the more heroic you are, the more frequent you get like hero points. And hero points are basically, they reset every session. You have a maximum of 3.
I was interested they're session-based rather than day-based.
Which is entirely reasonable. The more heroic you're being, the faster you get hero points. And the more you can play it fast and loose.
In the playtest book,
yes,
and I don't recall whether it was in this book, it explicitly called out that people who brought food to the gaming table started to play with 1 extra hero point.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
I don't know if it's currently in.
I think you'll find that this is a GM discretion rule, but at my table this is always true.
Well, basically, if you're playing at somebody's house, they've always got food available, so you just bring in a biscuit, right? Okay, go point for me.
Yeah, but Rule 7 always applies. So don't take the mech mate.
I can't remember whether it was in whether it made it through to the final.
I haven't seen that, but
I'm going to have a quick look.
It might well be in the Games Mastering Advice section.
Let me have a very, very quick look.
Yeah.
Where did I put it? Keep going.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. So we missed out the Age of Lost Omens chapter. So there's a whole chapter there on Galarian there.
Yes, we should talk about
which is stuck right in the book there.
Yes.
So if you're into the setting itself,
yes,
that's very much baked in there, and they've got a whole chapter telling you about Galarian.
Yes, the setting is a good 4.2% of the book.
How many pages is it?
It is 26 pages.
I've forgotten what I was looking for. What was I looking for?
You're looking for hero points. Yes. Pretty sure that's in Games Mastering Advice.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
I think.
Through Games Mastering Advice.
It seems that we're playing the game.
Hero points, found him. Okay.
Yes.
Hero points. Hero points are granted and used per session. You give out 1 hero point to each character.
Yep.
You also give out more hero points during the game after heroic accomplishments.
And again, we've got that cross-referencing, as noted on page 467. A player can spend 1 hero point for a reroll, or they can spend all their hero points to recover when they're dead.
Does not mention bringing food. They've taken it out.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit silly, to be honest. Yeah, okay.
But I think it's like a nice idea.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So what else do we have? Let's move on. So, combat death. The GMing section we've gone through already.
Yes.
We've talked about lots of advice in there, lots of stuff about tones and environments, how to set up campaigns, all this sort of stuff.
Well, I've got to say, I sort of love the advice on environments. Mm-hmm. This is something that...
Well, they've got a lot on environments, hazards, traps, and natural disasters even as well. They've got in there.
Yeah. These are brilliant. I love them.
Yeah, I saw a section on earthquake and avalanche and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, wow, okay, yeah. Scribbles notes furiously.
Yeah, useful things. Natural disasters does make sense to.
And listener Lee Donovan, well, yeah, unlucky mate.
Yes. Then we've got the treasure section.
Yes.
Which is a big section.
Oh, yeah, I looked at it and was like, yeah, that's 11% of the book.
Yeah.
68 pages.
Lots and lots and lots of magic items.
So much.
Many of which people will be familiar with from various iterations of D&D.
I saw some
Plus
lots.
some new stuff.
Yeah, why not? No, and you can craft them.
And there's a crafting system, yes.
Yeah.
3.x has always had a crafting system.
Yeah.
Kind of baked into it. 5e doesn't, does it?
No.
That's something that 5e dropped from the core rules.
Yeah.
So Pathfinder's always maintained one as well.
I'm like thinking, well, we've allowed for it. Maybe we should include some of the stuff from Xanathar's Guide to Everything in the page count, because in that case, it's actually exceeding the page count, because that's where the rules for things like resting while wearing armor doesn't remove exhaustion, where the guide for crafting magic items is. I mean, there's no rules, and if you want to buy a magic item in 5e, you're on your own, mate. Look on the internet. But here, it's got not only how do you buy them, how do you craft them?
Yeah, so you can build things out of different materials, I noticed.
Yeah.
You've got to put runes on them to give them effects.
I'm looking at runes thinking, oh, yes, I do like a bit of granularity in my kit. And it's just like, it looks at... And there's actually some thought to weapon choice, I think. I don't know. But I'm looking at Falchion and thinking, yes. Extra damage dice for if you attack twice in the same turn. Yeah.
So, yes, I mean, the whole treasure section is massive.
Yes. And the treasure and the equipment, they're going to go together very well. I don't know, it looks good. We've been frothing about this. I don't know, there's a lot of simplifications, a reduction in complexity, and a lot of depth to this game. I'm looking at it thinking that's...
Would you say you're a convert?
I don't know. It's a big boy of a book, right?
But as we established, it's exactly the same size as 5e. To the page.
Yeah.
So it's not really. But,
like,
if they'd split it into 2 books, would you still be thinking that?
It just seems denser. But to be fair, they've got a lot more. They've got a lot more done. And it is really good.
There is one other thing we should talk about.
Yeah?
Character sheet.
Oh, yeah. Okay, fine. If we must.
That, unfortunately, I mean, I'm with you. I wasn't sure if I'd like this.
Yeah.
Played to playtest, and there were a lot of problems with it. And I could see a game in there that I liked.
Yes.
But that wasn't quite it.
It's your user interface, yeah.
I think now, with Pathfinder 2, I think I very, very much like the game.
Yes.
However, the character sheet, I do not like.
I see. I've made a comment. Go on.
I'm sorry. I mean, there will be fan created character sheets out within days, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
And I will most certainly use one of those. But just looking at the let's just have a look at this character.
Yeah,
sheet.
go.
I'm just flicking through the pages here. Where is this? In the back of the book?
It's before the. Oh, and can I just say the index?
Here we go. This is the character.
That is a nice index.
That character sheet with the brown and the... It looks like a tax form, doesn't it? It really does. Look like, oh my god, there's HMRC been writing to me again.
Oh look, it says 4 and 5, 6, 7 at the bottom, yeah.
They're running a business. HMRC sends you so many letters every day. It's like, bloody hell, entire rainforest dropped through my door every day. What's going on here? Anyway, that side. So, yeah.
Okay, so there are some good bits. top left corner, it's got proficiencies and a decoding.
Yeah, it's got a little thing of the symbols, which is nice.
I do like that. That's nice. Yeah.
And what the different proficiency levels mean.
Yeah. And it's spaced out the modifiers and the scores separately.
There's a lot of these really tiny little boxes here. So, for example, you look at a skill, look at acrobatics, the first one.
Yeah.
Big box, that's basically your total.
Yeah.
Then equals, and then this is where you write in the things that make up that total.
Yeah.
Dexterity, proficiency, TEML. What would they be?
I don't know, because you got item and armour there.
TEML. I feel like we should know because that appears in perception up there.
We have
appears in saving throws there.
We have.
It appears in melee strikes. It appears everywhere.
It's not circumstance item.
No, because they wouldn't be.
They wouldn't check. Oh,
what the hell is TEML?
You see that's not a good thing. We've no idea what this thing is, and this is basically your introduction to. Yeah,
it's all over the place as well.
Yeah.
Once we find out, it will be really obvious.
It's got weapon proficiencies TEML as well.
Yeah.
This is like mysterious.
I feel like we probably do know and we've just forgotten.
Yeah, crikey.
TEML.
It'll be really obvious, but currently it's like.
Well, shall I just see if I can Google Pathfinder TEML?
Yeah.
It's going to be something really obvious.
Yeah.
Pathfinder TEML.
Maybe it's a term for
since someone talking about TEML there.
Yeah.
TEML.
Mate, it's some. At the Pathfinder playtest, talking about the mysterious character sheet.
Trained expert master legendary. It's the skill ranks, of course. Of course it is. See, we did know it.
Yeah, there we go.
We did know it, yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
But,
in fact, that's really obvious now. I feel a bit stupid, but not.
Bring up the character. Go back to the character sheet.
Go back to the character sheet, yeah. There we go, yeah.
Right, so surely it's got proficiency already. But it's got
Strength,
box for proficiency.
I reckon you put the value in there and you just tick which one of those it is. So you'd write 4 and tick expert.
You know what? You're absolutely right, because I even know why. So you've got your trained expert master legendary, and that's basically like your level of it. But your proficiency is equal to those plus your level.
Gotcha.
And so your proficiency will change.
Yes, right.
Got my 5e head on, doing it wrong.
Gotcha. There we go.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah.
So, yeah, okay.
I'm glad we're having this conversation now instead of me trying to explain it to a player. It's like, what does this supposed to be?
So the back of the sheet is basically a big old page of feats.
So many feats.
But what's interesting is they tell you where each one goes.
That is nice.
So ancestry feat first, heritage first, feat first, 5th, 9th, 13th, 17th.
Yeah.
Skill feats, general feats, 3rd, 7th, 11th. So it tells you when to fill in each of those boxes as well.
Which is good.
So you'll be slowly filling out all of these boxes as you go through the game, and there's a box specifically for. So I'm going to check. I assume you get something at every level. So first, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're choosing 6 feats.
Yep. Then
second, you're choosing.
You don't get an ancestry, but you do get a class.
2 feats.
Yep.
At third, no ancestry,
but you
no
do get
skill.
But you do get
a general feat.
Yes.
A class feat, so 2 at third.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks like pretty much every level you're going to be picking something.
No dead levels, which is strong.
Yeah.
That's strong. And you got some bonus feats in there as well.
Yep.
Just in case you pick up some of those somehow.
And then you've got an inventory down here.
I think
and a bulk chunk.
of course, with the archetypes, you're doing a dedication feat to swap something out with something else. I can't remember, but yeah, okay, so it does work.
You've got a spell sheet as well. Look.
Yeah.
You list your cantrips. You list your spells. Spell attack rolls, spell DC.
Oh, and you can
check out your magic traditions.
And you've got Arcane Primal, and you can colour in like little quadrants in that box there.
Yeah. So, all right. So I'm going to take that back about the character sheet.
Well, you can take back. It still looks like a tax form.
It's ugly as hell.
Yes,
but it is
very functional.
It is very functional. Yeah.
There's a lot of function that needs doing.
Yeah.
And you can't use it without at least two A4 pages.
Yeah.
I mean, what possibly 3?
This one is what's this? So this page is sketch, beliefs, likes, dislikes, personality.
This is your downtime page, I reckon.
Campaign notes, actions and activities. I don't know what all this is.
Yeah, this is downtime.
Oh, I see. These are probably activities that you will tend to do, and you write how many actions it is. Look.
Yeah. Exactly, like earning, because you've got like actions that you do only in downtime, and these are codified, so very explicitly, so you'd be able to write it down there. So essentially, I guess what you've got is you've got sort of exploration encounter on the first one, and then you've got all your feats, and then you've got
this is free actions and reactions and actions and activities as well. I don't think
yeah.
that is right.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah,
I think this is just common things. If you use them so much, you might as well write it down.
yeah.
And remember, it's 2 actions. It's on this page, and it's got a page number there.
And you've got
a little description.
You got the melee. Yeah, no, sorry. I'm sure this is absolutely fascinating podcasting material. But yeah, but basically, what we're saying is there's a lot of information in this book. And a lot quite good. So what don't you like? So you don't like the character sheet. Is there anything else you don't like?
I like the character sheet more now I've looked at it closer.
Yes.
But yeah.
Still an ugly brown. I got to be honest. Yeah.
Things I don't like. I think it's a little too keyword heavy.
Yeah.
To make it easy to jump into.
Yep.
But I think that is a barrier you get over pretty quick.
Yep.
Other than that, yeah, I like it. I do like it. I like the depth of it. I like the...
Depth being the number of options you have. Yeah,
it definitely feels to me like the deeper version of D&D.
Yeah.
Is how it feels to me. So,
yeah.
like 5th edition, I'm not saying it's a rules light game, because it's not.
It's super not, no.
No, but it's certainly lighter than this. But this isn't a complex game in the sense that it's... like Pathfinder 1 has a bit of a reputation for being this sort of wall of...
unwieldy behemoth of rules.
Yeah.
An unwieldy shog off of rules.
And I think
coming at you with various tentacles.
That is not what it is. It's not.
No, this is...
The complexity is about the same as D&D. It's just that there's more depth to it.
Yeah. Like the keywords, like the... Well, it's nice. It's going to get complicated. But yeah, there's a lot like the GMing advice tells you roughly how long you can expect a campaign to take.
So we haven't looked at the monster, the bestiary at all.
No,
we can maybe do that separately at some other time.
I mean, the book itself was like looking at the PHB and the DMG combined. So it's not a small amount of stuff. I found the skills actually one of the more sort of intimidating parts of the game.
It's definitely a new way of doing it, isn't it? I mean, it's in between Pathfinder 1 and 5e. It's like a midpoint between the two.
Yeah. It's like from my take on it, because you've got like the different things. Can you do it trained? Can you do it untrained? I'm very much more used to winging it, which again is why I say it's aimed at new GMs coming to the game for the first time. And you know what? I'm actually okay with that.
Cool.
I'm very pleasantly surprised. I was expecting it to be a lot more like obscure and full of different things, but no, it's actually relatively. It is an elegant piece of game design.
So it comes out. As the listeners are listening to this, assuming they're listening to it on the day we release this podcast, it comes out today.
Yes.
Obviously, we're recording it on Monday, so it comes out in 4 days' time for us.
Yeah.
That's not all that's coming out. So this is all getting launched at Gen Con.
That's true, yeah.
On Thursday morning.
Yeah.
So we've got this core rulebook, which we've just been flicking through.
Yeah.
There's also the bestiary, which we've also got here, but we haven't dived into yet, because that's another big book.
It's a big boy, yeah.
The Age of Ashes Adventure Path.
Oh.
So the first one of those is called Hell Knight Hell, and that's out.
Yeah, and there's 6 volumes?
Yeah.
Oh.
But only the first one's out today.
Yeah.
Then we've got a standalone adventure called The Fall of Plaguestone.
Yeah.
And a flip mat that goes with it.
Oh, you love these flip mats.
So much stuff. That's, right on launch day.
It's a slick marketing offensive. They've really put it all together.
Lost Omens World Guide, which is basically... so I've noticed that instead of calling it the World of Golarion, they're calling it the Age of Lost Omens.
Yes.
It's a slightly different branding.
And I gotta say, I'm going to pick up a book called The Age of Lost Omens over some made-up word any day of the week.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's like Golarion doesn't have any emotional connection to me.
Right.
No offence to people who loved playing in the world of Golarion, that's great for you.
Well, it's just a fancy word, isn't it? Yeah.
It's just fancy words. Whereas The Age of Lost Omens, I'm like, I don't know what that means. but I want to find out.
Yeah. Well, see, while I'm fairly familiar with Pathfinder as a game system, I am not at all familiar with the setting. Fluff.
Yeah, the lore is.
But I've never been a setting guy. I couldn't tell you that much about Forgotten Realms either. There's the Drizzt in it. I know that. There's a Drizzt and there's an Elminster.
Oh, I should write this down. I understand there's some guy called Follow, and he has a guide to monsters. And there's a Mordenkainen.
Other than Dragonlance, which I really was into.
Yeah, which we can
I made not, which I quite like. I'm not a big setting guy.
Yeah, so other than Dragonlance and Ravenloft.
Yeah. But anyway, I was saying about Pathfinder's coming. Lost Omens World Guide comes out at the end of the month.
Yes.
And there's a Lost Omens character guide. Ooh. So it's 3 new ancestries, races, which is the Hobgoblin, the plant-like Leshy, and Lizard Folk. 10 new heritages, which I think we established was sub-races. Yeah.
But ancestries, heritage.
100 new ancestry feats, 10 new archetypes.
Goodness.
And a load of stuff about the setting and organisations of the Pathfinder Society.
Right. Nice.
So that's all coming out. And then we've also got a GM screen.
Yeah.
We have a combat pad, which is a Pathfinder 2 combat pad, which is, as far as I can make it, exactly the same as the Pathfinder 1 combat pad, but it has second edition at the top right corner.
Not to be confused with the Starfinder pad, which will be the one I'll be using. But yes.
There's a character sheet pack.
Yeah.
We've got some condition cards.
Yeah.
A critical hit deck. And a critical fumble deck. So there's tons. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 things coming out at pretty much at launch or immediately after launch. That's insane.
So what's the recommended retail price for Pathfinder Core Rulebook?
The hardcover $59.99. The deluxe hardcover $79.99. That is.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's Pathfinder 2nd edition. So I think both of us are giving this a thumbs up.
I gotta say, yeah. I was expecting this to be a bit of a slog, but actually I'm quite excited about it.
I want to say, people might think we've just gushed over this thing. We haven't just gushed over. I honestly thought Peter was going to hate it. I honestly did. I know he didn't like Pathfinder 1.
Yeah.
I know he had a thing about Pathfinder 1 being too complex. I know he's a big fan of Savage Worlds and a big fan of D&D 5th edition and things about that level of complexity. I thought he'd hate it. So I am surprised that you like it. I'm pleased that you like it because it means we both like the same game.
Yeah. I was approaching this with a bit of agenda. I was looking to pick nits. It's very... I mean, we've established it's the same length as the Player's Handbook and the GME, but I feel like there's a lot of system to master. I'm sort of intrigued. I'm
sure it's by no means perfect. I'm sure when we sit down and play it properly, there are going to be things about it that bug us.
Yeah. But I think they've done so much work, so much effort to make it accessible and to keep all the things which make Pathfinder, which is the absolute customizability of your characters. There is a lot of customizability. The thing that's going to annoy people is you can't mix and match your classes. But you know what? That's going to have to take one for the team.
Do you know what I love about that customizability? Customizability,
yeah.
The thing I love about that customizability in that depth, what I love about it is it hasn't come at the cost of complexity. It's easy customizability. All it is when you get to the level or whatever as a race, you just pick from one of these 6 feats.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah.
It's just means that different characters are going to be different to each other, and you can.
Yeah, I mean, and also I'm a sucker for good editing and solid explanation and just things all being explained properly.
So my 2 fears were.
Yeah.
So I had 2 fears. So my first fear was it was going to be too complex.
Yeah.
I was worried it would be. It's not.
No.
I worried I'd look at it and I just wouldn't have a clue how different things worked.
Yeah.
And definitely these days reading 600-page rule books is more difficult. Turns out it's a lot of it's a reference book, and once you've got the core of it down, you're fine. You just
I think if you've been playing Dungeons and Dragons and you're ready to go for something a bit crunchier, this is actually not a bad one to go for.
Well, the other thing that I was worried about was it might be a bit too 4E like. In the sense that I'm not saying 4E is a bad game, because I know it's fashionable to hate or love 4E, and I think that's just stupid. Which is why we had our little edition war sketch today. But 4E did some things well, and it did some things badly. And one of the things that I didn't like about 4E was the uniformity of it, and the balancing of it. which Pathfinder 2e has definitely done some of, made things too similar to each other.
Yeah. No.
And I was worried that Pathfinder would do that, but it's gone the opposite way.
Yeah.
And things are all different to each other. So that doesn't even make sense. It's not even English, but I think people will understand what I mean by that.
Yeah, it's basically a finely tuned gaming product. It's not over designed, but and you're not going to get lost in this book.
No,
you will be able to find it. You're going to have to read it.
I'm pleasantly surprised, is what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I'm pleased and pleasantly surprised.
What's going to be the issue is a lot of people are just going to pick up and say, "Oh, I know what all this stuff is," and they're going to miss a lot of the things which make this a really good game.
Sure,
yeah. But you can't help that. If people aren't going to read the book that they just paid $60 for, right, or $80 if they're going for like the nice Swish deluxe hardback, as a publisher, you can do nothing about it. But I would definitely recommend. This is a book that you need to read. It's got codified good advice. It's got examples of good design. I have found, what do I say, like 2-3 ideas. I'm just nicking wholesale. The bulk, I'm just taking that. That's mine now. This is now coming with me. The initiative system, we're both looking at that and saying, "Oh, get in, less of that, bit of initiative, bit of skill-based initiative check."
Yeah.
The environments, the hazards, the exploration side of things. I'm definitely taking that off with me.
Well.
Yeah. Anyway, so thumbs up.
So I think we're pretty much done for this week then.
Yes, indeed.
So we should probably end on that good note.
No, we should.
So yeah, I think we better sign off then.
Yes.
So next week, with luck, unless something goes wrong, we're going to have Kevin Culp on, who is going to talk about Time Watch.
Yes.
His new game, Swords of the Serpentine, which he's working on, which is
nice.
another Gumtree-powered game.
Excellent.
And anything else that you might be wanting to talk about at the time.
Yeah.
But until then, that's just me signing off. So it's goodbye from me, Russ.
And it's goodbye from me, Peter Coffey, from the Southampton Guild Role Players.
See you next week.
Goodbye.
Apparently I now have to read this to you. This is the official podcast of Morris's unofficial tabletop RPG news, which you can find at enworld.org. You can find show notes at morris.podbean.com or wherever you found the podcast. If you feel like they deserve it, you can support the show on Patreon. In return, you will receive exclusive bonus content. Just go to patreon.com/Morris. If you're interested in his babbling nonsense, you can follow @Morris on the Twitter. Send your emails to morrispodcast@gmail.com. Not all of your emails, just the ones you want us to see. That's it. I'm bored now. You can go away. Shoo, off you go. Goodbye. Get out of here.